For approach chords, we're just reiterating because apparently repetition is necessary because we started to discuss it and it wasn't clear. If you're going towards, say, this minor 7 chord, the approach chord can have a root, a third, a fifth, any of these notes, any or all of these, roots, thirds, fifths, flat 7, 9, sharp 11, 13. In addition, the sharp 9, which is normally aggressive, can sound pretty soft edge. Now let's say you're going towards major, like F major here, E flat's the sound at home for you. I'm going to put the 5th in the bass. That approach chord, that flat 2, gosh man, I mean that sounds pretty soft to me.
Flat 2 I get confused. What do you mean by
flat 2? Is the term for approach chords from a half step above.
To the chord you're approaching?
Yeah, it's the flat 2 of the chord you're about to go to. Flat 2 is just a synonymous term with approach chord, unless somebody is talking about other kinds of approach chords. If they're talking about the half step approach, let me be more explicit. Flat 2 is a term that people use synonymously with half step above approach chords, i.e. D flat towards C is called half step above or flat 2. Yeah?
Yeah.
So when you're going towards a major and you put a natural 9, which is one of those tones we said that favors, all those sound normal there. Here's the sharp 9 though. That's kind of pretty, isn't it? And it is kind of soft. It doesn't sound real. It doesn't have that feeling at all. But that's because it's on a flat 2. Why does that happen? Well, partly because it's a diatonic melody note to where you're going, but other than that, I don't know. Yeah, I think going towards minor, it won't make much of a difference whether you use this or they're pretty similar in their mood. So anyway.
B flat. My approach chord to this, to get contrary motion, what could I use?
To get into which chord?
To get into the E flat.
7 sharp 9?
My home.
Is that where you want to get to? E flat 7 sharp 9?
No, not sharp 9, just...
Oh, just E flat 7 something or other,
yeah.
Huh? Oh, okay, let me have it and I'll try a few and then I'll show you what it takes. I would probably do that. I like the outer voices to go contrary the best. So I like the bass to go down and the top to go up. That's one of the most, probably the most common contrary motion in the history of music. Running a close second, maybe even better, I don't know, is outside in. But that's another story because those are inversions when they're outside in more. They're not root chords as much. That's not as like... It wasn't really a D chord I played there. When I did this, it's actually a 5 chord inverted. But this above thing, or this is one of my favorites. And this one, parallel now. Some parallel is good. Inner voice contrary. Can you see it okay?
Yeah.
Put this note on top. Parallel, it's real interesting. If your chord is more spicy than normal, it's still new for your ears, parallel's great. So I want to hear two of them.
You were using mostly counter, what do you call it again?
Contrary motion?
Contrary motion?
No, I just wasn't now. No, I just like it. Maybe in the whole arrangement I get 10% of them are that way, but something.
Well, like the first one you showed me up here, was that?
The very first time? don't even remember it now, God. But just in general, when I'm comping, maybe 10% of the time is contrary motion. I would say
And the rest is parallel?
20 or 30% are this kind of motion, where everything's going down if it's an approach chord, but one of the notes is screaming down, starting much higher and then coming down.
But that's still parallel.
It's called similar motion. Parallel has to be equivalent. Parallel is like where they all do the same thing.
Okay.
Parallel diatonic means same scale. So if you're in this key and you go, then that's parallel diatonic. That's literally the same chord scale. Jazz piano players love this. They'll find it. Let's say the song was in this key and they're going, right there. They might have gone.
What did you do there? Dun, 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 dun. What kind
This
of
is going parallel diatonic. This
Parallel
means
diatonic.
same scale. Stepwise motion in the scale. Put all four of those lines together.
Using diatonic chords?
I wanted to go here, and
Okay.
I said, what if I move all these back in reverse to the next note in the scale up? And I found it was this, just like you would. Then you go, what if I move those up to find one higher than those? Then you get, these are called parallel diatonic fourth chords. It just turns out they're all fourth apart, all these notes. But even if they weren't fourths, let's say this chord was this. For wow, this string's a little too light for that. Say I was this one. Now the chords would be like this. That's just doing chord scale work. Chord scale work is great work to do. You've done some of that, huh?
A little bit.
Every chord can be thought of as part of a chord scale. Every chord. It sounds bananas, but it's true. Some chords belong to more than one chord
Was that
scale.
diatonic chord scale?
Sure was. I don't use the term chord scale without meaning diatonic. It means stay in a scale and play the scale in chords. So here's a scale in chords. Instead of just a major scale or two notes, like three notes. You know how what this is, and then four notes, maybe major sevens. Chord
But if it's
scale.
diatonic, how come you're not playing like on a minor,
I
the
am.
1, 2, 3?
I did.
You are?
Well,
start
you thought these weren't?
I thought they all sound major to me.
The key is major. Listen carefully now. If I say sing this one, you'll go. If I say sing down, you'll go bee ba 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 boom. That's D minor 7.
Okay.
I mean, ideally, if you could sing it and hear the notes in it. But I got to tell you, minor 7 chords are the softest minors going, other than their bigger brothers, meaning 11s and stuff. When you're in minor 7 land, it's not very sad and dark, so it's easy to not hear any darkness.
That example you showed me that a piano player would do.
Mm-hmm.
What other chords do you do? You were more toward the middle. Bum bum bum. You do.
Oh, with the 4? This,
Yeah. The 4. What did you do like that?
those were. I was just taking this chord,
What's that chord?
D6-9 for me, for you
Okay.
C6-9.
D6-9. Okay. That's what you want to land on, right?
Yeah, see, I want to land on that.
Okay.
So instead of going parallel major
Right.
or major with contrary motion, right there I used a note, which I love. I gotta say, I love contrary motion in there. Why don't I use it more than 10% if I use it that? Because I can't think of them fast enough.
You say you use diatonic. What you
I know, I'm coming
Okay.
to it. I just want to put them all, summarize, all in one place now.
Okay.
I would do more of these. like this thing you like.
Mhm.
You got to see it fast. You got to
Right.
think fast on some string backwards. You know. Rehearsal would be good to have many moves down. I should just rehearse them more. Find some better ones. Okay, half-step approach with the dominant in similar motion. As I say, into this major, right?
Mhm.
With the more screaming down on the top thing, starting farther away. You hear that a lot in jazz.
I do. What is that? A sharp 5 or
Yeah, sharp 5 would be there. This is 13.
a 13 chord? Okay.
Because like I said, the notes that sound right on the approaches are generally roots,
Okay.
thirds, fifths, flat 7, 9, sharp 11, and 13. Also a few occasional sharp 9s.
Okay. You have a sharp 9.
We don't want to fixate on that.
All right.
That's just an addition. It's 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 9, sharp 11, and 13. Say it with me. 1,
1, 3, 5, flat 11, 9, sharp 11, 13.
Yeah, those are the cool notes to start with.
Okay.
For dominant approach chords, which are also known as half-step chords, which are also known as flat 2 chords, and where you're going. The guy will say, oh, just come in from a flat 2. If he means the key, then if you're in E flat, that would mean like F flat, which is like E. So it would be E into E flat. If he means the chord of the moment, it's as if he's in a key too, because it's still going to be a half step above. If a band leader says, hey, try this, just, why don't all you cats use a half step approach? You know? I know what this man means. You say, yeah, like the guitar player. You cats follow that guitar player over there. So that'll be you, leading the way.
And that is not called parallel?
Some guys mistakenly will say parallel, but this is called, truly, this is semi-parallel because it's similar motion. They're all going, there are 4 motions. Parallel, similar, oblique, and contrary. This is similar. They're all going down,
Okay.
but parallel would be either this, strict, or diatonic parallel. Now we're back to where we're in a scale and staying parallel. Right? Not chromatic.
Right.
Not chromatic, but rather diatonic. And then above that was this one, and above that's that. So when somebody's playing White Christmas, if they want to end, guess what can happen?
Is that all diatonic?
Same thing with old-fashioned, ending here, would have been these voicing. Notice how they have a little more traditional sound? Because there are thirds in those chords, and they're built as inverted third stacks. If you take a chord, build it in thirds, and then invert it, you'll get some of these. But these are fourth chords. The intervals are actually a fourth apart.
Okay, those are fourth chords,
Fourth chords.
but they're diatonic?
Diatonic fourth chord.
Diatonic fourth chords.
How do we know? We work from the top down with fourth chords, not the bottom up. There's a D. If we count down, we go, there's 4 notes. Then we take this and count down 4. And then that down. There we go. There we go. And just move it down the scale.
So you're going down diatonically in fourths?
Yeah. Not in fourths, in fourth chords.
In what?
See, if you say down diatonically in fourths, I think of this. I tend to think he means cycle of fourth progression moving down the neck.
Right, that's what I thought you were saying.
No, I'm doing just, how do I convey this to you now? This is a chord.
Yeah.
What note is 4 tones below this, including it itself? We go, that's the beginning of this fourth chord. Because this is just, we just count. So that's called a fourth interval. So we put them together. Then we take this and we go 1, and we put those together. Have I lost you already?
No.
Good. We put that in too. That chord is completely built downward in fourths. It's just for short called a fourth chord.
That chord is built on...
This chord is called for short in the world, in the street world of music, a fourth chord. That's what cats say. They say, man, that's a cool fourth chord. They don't say, I like your progression in fourths. I dig that cycle 4 progression. It's a chord. They'll say 4th chord.
What's the name of this chord?
We're not giving it a name right now.
Okay.
Stay away from that for a moment.
4th chord.
It's a 4th chord. That's what, when there's a language where all these are equal members of diatonic fourths. No one is sovereign right yet. We just move free. However, this one sure sounds like part of that D, suspiciously like a D6-9, and so does this one. I don't make the rules, we just hear that stuff. So, you say what are the names? If you use them where a D chord's supposed to be, this one and this one, either one or both, you'll hear a D thing. Can't help it, that's what they are. If you use the others as approaching stuff.
Okay, so to understand it, you play that first top note, correct? And then you added the 4th note.
4th intervals below.
4 intervals below that note.
Not 4 intervals below. 4th intervals. The terms are super...
4th?
Because if you say 4 intervals, I'll think, 4 intervals, does he mean 4 half steps? What's he saying?
Diatonically,
I'm sorry, it's just these terms that are out there.
Diatonically, 4
tones below, including the first note, though.
Okay.
Intervals are computed always by including the note you're on first in the counting. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay,
so this note is said to be a 4th below this.
And so you
So
play
this
those
is
two
called
notes.
a 4th interval. Then we do the same from here. We start here, and we boom, 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 that leads us here. Then bee, boo, bum, boo, and that leads us there. And that's called a 4th stack also.
Okay.
Because if you stack up from the bottom or down from the top, you see all these 4th. On the staff, they're all like kind of, you know how thirds touch each other on the staff? Either all spaces or all lines.
So how did you, I understand now. Now how did you move it to the next chord?
You go down or up the scale. That's what diatonic means, stay in the scale. So we're in D, so D moves up to what?
E.
And A moves up, well let's do it down here where we were. A moves up to B, E moves up to what? F sharp, because we're in D major, right?
Right.
B moves up to what?
C sharp.
And F sharp moves up to?
F sharp moves up to G.
G. Right there, right? So we have... Put it all together, you get...
And that's also a 4th chord?
This is called a 4th chord. Both of these are. If you do this, and your friend's a jazz guy, say he's an older veteran, and he looks over, he goes, 4th chords this week, huh? And you'll say, yeah, I like these 4th chords, man. It's also known as quartal, Q-U-A-R-T-A-L, quartal harmony. Because quartal means 4.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, with this bass, with the root.
So when you start on that first one, that 6-9 chord, you move every note up once diatonically.
Diatonic, thank you.
Okay, so whatever note you're on, the top note, you move it up diatonically to the next note, to the next diatonic note. Likewise with the second string.
Oh yeah. Or you could have done it the other way. You could just move this up all by itself, then build down a 4th. Just go bee boom boom bum, bee boom boom bum, and you would still get the same result.
Now, how would you use that in a song?
You can't use it. It's too esoteric. No, it's not true. You first have to fall in love with the sound. Let the sound become your friend till it's oozing out of you, till you just sit and it just comes out. Then ask me that question again.
Okay. I like that sound.
I'm glad. I do too. I once interviewed George Van Eps in a magazine, you know, for the cover of Guitar Player. And in there, I said, George, what do you say to these... How do I say it? What was the thing? He came up with a story. I forgot if I prodded him because I knew it prior and I wanted to get it out of him. He has a lot of funny little cute stories. Somehow it came across that he was at a party and a guy said, hey, are you into 4th chords? You know, they're the coming thing. This was decades ago. And George said, really? I didn't know they ever left. Because he's always studied all this harmony, and to him they were already... That's what I did. I kind of chuckled like, yeah, that's good. He was into it way before it was hip. But the jazz guys got into it in the 50s, and it's still considered... It isn't widely discussed in this way, but it turns out this is true. You just got to believe me for now. Take it on faith and test, see if I'm right or wrong. This is the core of jazz harmony still. Most of the quote-unquote modern jazz is built on fourth chord still, to this day. But not always diatonic to the major scale. Either diatonic to weirder scales, and or chromatic, and or semi-chromatic. Meaning you're going to hear... guys will play... You've heard a lot of jazz that has that, and it still has that quote-unquote modern jazz sound. It doesn't sound like the old, nothing like that. It doesn't sound like, it doesn't sound like.
So what were you doing?
It's no style. It's not Dixieland. It's none of the old styles. It's the new. I was in, what was I in? No scale. I started to be in Dorian. Here, I'll make it to be in Dorian for you. It'll make your life easier. No. Yeah, there's Dorian.
So right now you're doing fourth chords in the Dorian scale?
Correct, on the middle four strings over a D bass tuned down. If we do it in E, let's do it in E. It'll sound like D now at home for you. Here's with 3-note.
That's diatonic?
I just thinned it down. It was like I went on a diet here and went to 3-note chords, fourth chords.
But you're moving either up
Dorian,
or down diatonic.
Dorian diatonic.
By
V. This is every note is in this. They all come out of that.
But you're moving one note up or one note down?
Yeah,
Or you
two,
might...
maybe I might leap, might go.
Okay, but it's still diatonic. Okay.
Still diatonic. Good luck.
Okay, that's one way to learn voices.
It's one way to learn colors on guitar. Yeah,
Okay,
voicings.
I think that's an excellent technique. I never... It's the first time I hear about it.
Music is vast but organizable. There's nothing about it that should be too mysterious except that how did the Creator give us this thing? I mean, what this vibration should make a noise inside here and we hear it as sound. It's just incredible, man. That blows my mind.